We're going to take a wait-and-see attitude on this new music. I'm trying something different with Spotify. Well, with Epidemic. I stream Epidemic copyright-free through Spotify, and I tried a different playlist today. Yeah. We'll see how it goes. What's happening, everybody? How's your week? One more day and we're done. It is Thursday. One more day and we're done. So we are on, this is Lone Oak by Bullet Bill, converted to 19 by Oxygen David. And this is another fantastic map out of Frontier Designs. I played this, I actually did a series on it for 17. And it's different. If you're not familiar with it, we will, we'll do a little bit of a tour before we get started working. But if you're not familiar with it, it is supposed to be based in Oregon. But you know what? It could be anywhere. Now, I don't doubt that it is really based on an aerial photo from Oregon. Bullet Bill is pretty, I don't know, accurate like that, going all the way back to Culberra Park. But it could be anywhere. This could be Texas. I mean, the grass is pretty green for Texas. But it could be Texas. It could be even up into Canada. I mean, this is really a typical American or North American sort of farm landscape. And I really do like it. It is the most accurate North American or US map that I've ever seen. And I know there are some others out there. I haven't seen every map, of course. So I'm not saying that it is the best, but it's the best one I've seen. I really do like it. And going back to the map here, we are right in here. And I think this is the only farm on the map that you can buy. There's pigs right over here. But I think that's it as far as ownable. I mean, there's sheep right over here. But you know what I mean. It seems like maps that are being built for Farm Sim at the moment have like 6 or 8 or 10 different properties that you can buy. This is not set up that way. It's just this one big farm in the middle here. And you saw we are on big kit, really, really big fields. So this quad track right back here, and pardon me while I spin in circles, this quad track right here with the great big Cultiplow on it, we did this field, which is field 3-2. It's not the biggest on the map, but it's pretty damn big. And it took me, with this, I believe this is the widest Cultiplow that's available. It took me, well, the hourometer in the quad track says 1.7 hours to do this field. Yeah. And with this big kit, that's the other problem with big kit, is hired workers, they're not great with it. They really aren't. And with this sort of narrow transition, so we've got the field here, a little bit of a grass verge, then a lane, farm road, grass verge, and then we're right into this next field. I had to revert to a couple save games because I put it on a hired worker, and the hired worker went over into the next field. And since Cultiplow doesn't care about crops, and we own both these fields, the one that we're in and that one right there with the, I believe that's wheat. Because we own both these fields, the Cultiplow had no problem crossing this little lane and just continuing on and plowing under our wheat. We don't want to plow that under. We want to save that. So, going to be interesting to test out some of this big kit. But what I haven't used is, if we go here, what I have not used is the stuff from the Bordeaux pack. I've never been on a map big enough to use it. Not even kidding. This stuff here, this is from it's not the Big Bud pack, is it? I don't know. But, yeah, I think it might be from the Big Bud pack from 2017. But this great big stuff here with 75-foot planter, 75-foot cedar, 60-foot cedar. So, this is the Bordeaux pack here. Yeah, there's another 75-foot planter, an air cart, almost 100 feet on that one. So it'll be fun to use this stuff, but we have to figure out how to turn it because it is really, you know what I mean? It's out there. And now this is, hang on, let's do some math on this quickly. This goes with the 3320. Okay, so each of these goes with the one, right? So the 3320 and the 7950 work together. This is 500 horsepower, no horsepower requirement there. This is 600 horsepower. No horsepower requirement there. This is 240. Okay, and this goes by itself. All right. And then there are also, I'm sorry, those were cedars, and then down here are the planters, and I believe there are, no? Okay. So the Bordeaux stuff, the really big stuff, is just for seeding and not for planting. Okay. Regardless, we will get into all that. But we've also got, you saw across the way here. And I went with Case. Case is what I used when I originally played this map on 17 on the channel. And it's a funny story. I didn't plan to use Case for any particular reason. I just never use it, so I went ahead with Case. And when I went down to the store for the first time to pick up what I had bought, it's got banners and flags outside, and it is a Case dealer. So, nice coincidence, and I just figured I'd stick with Case for this playthrough as well. So, yeah, really big kit. Got a great big, this is our Maxim, and then we've got a smaller tractor in the garage. Call it an Optum. Yep, big American kit there. Big old snout nose semi-truck. 3 axles in the back, stainless steel grain trailer. A lot of fun kit that I never get to play with because we don't spend a lot of time on American or Canadian maps. But this is really well done. It was well done by Bullet Bill. The conversion has been done well for 19. Something that I did notice, though, and you'll be able to see it when we get into the tractor, because I typically use drone cam on Farm Sim. I use in-cab first-person cattle and crops. But I don't know. Maybe it's because the tractors look better, the scenery looks better. I don't know. But I tend to go with drone cam on Farm Sim. And I think, I noticed when I was testing this out, I think the reason I like UK style maps is the sightlines. The sightlines are so broken up, you never really see that horrific Farm Sim draw distance. We've got a cotton harvester. We are going to grow some cotton on this map. We'll pretend it's Texas. We grow some cotton in Texas. We've got the Optum. This is going to be our little tractor at, I think, 300 horsepower. So, yep, fun stuff there. And plenty of storage on this farm. This may be, I think this was in 17. I think this was a seed fill point. It may still be. And we're going to run into problems like storing that great big Borgo equipment if we use any of it. I don't know that we'll be able to get it through these doors. I think it may be too high and too wide even when it's folded. But we'll try to find a place for it. So yeah, fantastic map. This used to be, on 17, this used to be a liquid fert fill point. It may still be. We'll find out. And these great big grass fields, we own these. I think the only thing that makes sense to use for these grass fields is the Big M, which is base game in 19. And it doesn't really fit on a North American map, but then I think, well, the other mowers that we have are either Klaas, Pottinger, or Kverneland Vicon. So we don't really have a lot of American equipment, proper American equipment. This may be a hay sell point, a bale sell point. Maybe. We'll find out. Storage right here. Where's the grate for this? Is there one? Hang on. Yeah, it looks like it is. Okay. So we need to figure out... Oh, and I did see... I can't zoom in any further. But if you look at the 3 right there, under where it says Lime Station, that is a sell point, so I believe that is the barn. And then right under where we're standing right now, the white arrow does indicate crop storage, but where is the grate for these? That's it, right there. Yep, been a long time since I've been on this map, probably 2 years. Year and a half to 2 years. So plenty of storage, but I don't know if there's going to be any storage for that great big equipment. So we'll just have to suspend our disbelief as we do and pretend that it's, I don't know, something. We're going to have to leave it out in the weather. I hate to do that, even in Sim. It feels reckless. This is our dairy operation over here. Lovely. Now, previously, I stored my bales right in here. And I went with square bales. We're going to get a lot of straw out of that cereal field across the highway there. We're going to get a lot of straw out of there. And I believe you can go 2 or 3 bales wide, like 3 high, and all the length of this building. The only problem is you have to put them all in manually. So what we might do is 1 row of straw, 1 row of hay. That could work. And right over here... Yep, I am running the animal pen extension mod, but I didn't place any of that stuff yet. I didn't place this milk sell point yet, but we'll do that. If we if we stick with this map for a while, we'll get all that done. So very authentic. I mean, this looks, in fairness, this looks like a pretty rustic operation. I think if you had a farm this big, your dairy would be modernized, but that's not. That's just an observation. That's not a criticism. Yep, I remember all these from when I played this before. So great big grass field on our right here, and we'll have to go with the big M. What else can we do? There's no way I'm doing this with butterfly mowers. Now this, oh, hang on. Could figure out where my map was. So on the mini map, this says we're in grass right here, but this is also a cereal crop. So I think what we'll probably do, yeah, wheat. I think what we'll probably do is harvest one of these cereal fields as a row. Sorry, blanked out. Multitasking. We'll harvest one of those as a row and bale it up, and the other we'll just spray as, I don't know, whatever that is. Dust. Chaff. Lovely. One other thing. This is going to sound like a complaint. It's not. It's almost a complaint. When you spawn in on this map, you do start up in the closed door bedroom of the farmhouse there. And if you don't like to teleport, you're going to be doing some walking. What's in here? Does this open? Certainly does. Beautiful. Yep, we had two. What did we have before? We had like two 1255s that we parked in this little shed right here. We had sort of a... Whoa, camera. We had sort of a mixed bag of big and little equipment. And what's the word to call the dog? Oh, hey, buddy. Isn't there a pet? There you go. Oh, yeah. Who's a good boy? You is. All right. You want to go in? You waiting to go in? No, I don't. I want to open the door. Okay, so here's what we need to do. All right, so he's gone. Now we can open the door. He's looking like he wanted to go inside. Go home. There you go. I don't know, man. Dogs in video games. It's irresistible. As soon as you see a dog in a video game, you got to interact with him. Right, so some of this doesn't match up because these... Like this trailer that we have right here is... hang on, let's take a look over here. I don't think... Let's take a look here. So if we go here... I don't think there's an option to have a hitch on the back of this. Yeah. Because what we could do is chain them together. Right, so we go with a dolly and have two of these together because I believe this is 65,000. And then our chaser bin here is 90,000. So I would think that it would be the opposite. Like this would be 90,000. And then this would be 30,000 and you would run trips back and forth from your combine harvester to your trailer parked on the highway. Right? But not the case. And this is interesting also. These are base game. These are both base game. And our lines don't hook up. A lot of other base game equipment, we do have dynamic hose now, but not there. All right, not a big deal. So next, I suppose, we will... Let's get the quad track out of the way. Figure out where we can put this thing. Let's get this out of the way. I left it all hooked up. We did lease this Cultiplow, but I left this all hooked up because we will be running over this field and then that cereal field across the way. We will be hitting both of those with the Cultiplow, so we get the cultivation bonus and also the what's the other one? The plow bonus. Turn that off. So yeah, I thought we'd test this out, see how it goes, have a little bit of fun with it. And I haven't used equipment this big. I don't even think we were using equipment this big the last time we were on this map. You know what? I could probably leave this thing right in the middle here. But I'm going to move it off to the side just in case I don't know, UPS or somebody comes down the lane here. Beautiful. So what else is going on? I reinstalled Flight Simulator twice at 150 gig per install. First time I installed it, I was getting crash to desktop, so frustrating. Uninstalled. Went back and saw that it was the update that was causing the crash to desktop. The update had been out for like a day. Every time they fix the game, they break it. But then there was a hotfix for the CTD, so I downloaded it again. Another 150 gig. On an SSD. I hate that. I run Samsung Evo SSD, and they are expensive. I try to preserve them, minimize my rights. But I did get it downloaded again, and I did get a couple flights in. I did one sort of, I guess, IFR flight in the Airbus, which is not study grade, in fairness, but it's a decent enough. Yeah, we can just do it manually. It's a decent enough aircraft. But Flight Simulator 20 it's all about GA, I would say. It's not really an airliner simulator. I mean, it's not really a flight simulator at all. It's more like a flight game. But they did fix a few things. They brought proper navigation in. The navigation is up to date, so you can use it with like SimBrief or something, and everything matches up. And I guess, I mean, it's not Navigraph, but it doesn't need to be Navigraph. Navigraph is just a service that a lot of sim pilots use to keep everything up to date, but it doesn't have to be Navigraph. As long as your navigation information is current, it doesn't really matter where you get it. So we want to open that. Beautiful. And that was something that was missing from Flight Simulator 20, but I guess they've added that now. Good on them. So the nav information was correct, and I was able to do a decent IFR flight in the Airbus. And then I saw that the UK and Ireland scenery update pack had installed, so fired that up. Started from Manchester, which is an airport that I've struggled with in X-Plane, because I guess that I didn't know this. I thought the airports in X-Plane were all made by Laminar, but they're made by like a volunteer community, and then they need to pass through some kind of portal, some kind of like vetting system that Laminar does to make sure they're legit. And there are aircraft at the gates in Manchester, which was very confusing to me because I have spawned aircraft turned off, and yet there they were. So I pulled the file apart and like looked inside it, and then they're hard coded in there. So I guess you can do that. I would prefer that they not be there because I use ATC, and ATC puts other players' aircraft where they actually are, like where those other aircraft and those other players are. So I would prefer that not be there. But that's my beef with X-Plane Manchester. So I figured they've got a new hand-drawn Manchester in Microsoft Flight Sim. Let's take a look. And as I was taxiing in the King Air, there was a house in the middle of the taxiway. And previously, there were no collisions on things around the airports. So I just assumed that would still be the case. And I tried to go through this house thinking that it didn't have collision, and my plane, it just goes to a black screen. There's no like fiery explosion or anything, but they said, "Nah, you're done. You're done, kid." So still not ready. It's gorgeous. It is absolutely the prettiest flight simulator, probably one of the prettiest games I've ever seen, ever. It is absolutely amazing in terms of scenery, and I think it really is going to redefine what we expect when we play a sim in a real world environment. But it's not there yet. Too frustrating. So I did uninstall again, and I will try again in I don't know, probably August. We'll give it the 1 year anniversary. But then I did hop in the King Air in X-Plane and did a flight from Manchester to Glasgow. And just as I was about to make my turn on it's the Gulf Oscar Whiskey approach, where you essentially fly directly over the airport, and then you turn sort of northeast, fly out around that little foothill, make a 180-degree turn, and then come in on runway 23. And just as I made that turn, at 3,000 feet, my engine's cut out. So hopped on Reddit, and apparently the plane is modeled accurately enough that if you have the pumps set up, the fuel pumps, if you turn them on, you get a warning, but that warning is not correct. In real life, you do have to leave them on, or you get some kind of cavitation. Something happens, but the pumps will fail after a couple hours, and that flight is like an hour and 50 minutes. So even though I had failures turned off, I fuel starved the engine, something happened. But I had a very hard landing northeast of Glasgow, and that is no fun. And in X-Plane, you do, I mean, I got it on the ground okay, and then I started to get the orange glow, so we were Ricky Bobby on fire. And that did not end well. But I am figuring it out. GA previously, and some of the GA flying that I did in Flight Simulator in the fall, when it was working, like August, September, it was the GA flying that I was doing. I mean, I didn't have Navigraph yet. I wouldn't say that I wasn't taking it serious. I didn't know what I didn't know. But as much as I've learned about airliner aviation in the past 90 days, a lot of that, not all of it, but a lot of it transfers over to how you fly a GA aircraft as well. So I tried to do what I could, and it's got, they call it it's Laminar branded. It's not Garmin branded, but it's meant to represent the Garmin navigation and avionics and autopilot system. We're going to stop right here. There we go. Back up, I said. There you go. We'll go hop in our chaser bin and bring it over here. So I was able to figure out, probably a quarter of it, a third of it. And I figured that's not bad on my first flight. But I still have a lot to learn about getting that Garmin all programmed. And I also found out from watching a pilot on YouTube, I did find out that there is a way to have Jeppesen en route charts. And what that allows you to do is put in your frequencies for your nav aids. Because I've got the departure, like I use the SID chart, and I've got the star charts. But I didn't have anything for en route as far as flying to those frequency nav aids. So being able to put those in and see the VOR, have the direction finders pop up, that's all been super, super fun. But it's a whole new system to learn. All right, we're going to hop in our Maxim here. It's funny that this is a little tractor compared to that quad track, but in real life, this is a monster. All right, here we go. So we'll zoom this out a little bit, open that, and make our way. So yep, that was fun, and I hope to continue expanding with that. Man, I really hope that Flight Simulator gets itself together. They seem to be really struggling right now. Well, they don't seem to be. They are really struggling right now. Continued download issues, just a lot of problems. And that's such a legendary franchise. I really do hope they get it sorted out. Plus, I think it'll be fantastic if there are two options. On the one hand, you have a not great looking. It's pretty good looking. It's not great looking, but very technically accurate airliner and commercial aviation simulator in X-Plane. Yeah, look how big these fields are. We are just driving and driving. And then on the other side, you have a less accurate, but visually stunning, and I'm hoping it becomes, what's a good word for it? Serviceable, adequate, general aviation sim. I think that'd be a lot of fun too. So if they can bookend it like that, great. And I do want to get Zeusy going and have that. It may not be a massive part of the channel, but I would love to get Zeusy going and use that for our train simulator. I think I've broken myself with X-Plane. I think I really want that technically accurate sim experience now. Pardon me. I think I want that technically accurate sim experience. Even if it's not the greatest looking, right? Doesn't have the best graphics. And Zusi does not. But I think it'd be fun to bring that to the channel. So we'll see if we can figure it out. And yes, I did just hiccup. I don't know if you caught that. I'm hoping that was like a one-off. I don't need to start hiccuping as we're streaming here. Beautiful. And I'm going to turn this off when we're fully unloaded. We'll just continue on our way. So yeah, sightlines. I think one of the things that I like about UK style maps. So this right here, this is gorgeous. It's beautiful, but you can't see the draw distance. All you can see is these. Now we're rendering at 200% scaling, and I think this looks great. Our draw distances are down a little bit. They're at 150 instead of 175, but the scaling is at 200%. This looks fine, and we're at a solid 60 FPS. But when we hop in here, when we go drone cam, you can see that draw distance. And I think one of the things that I like about UK style maps is because the sightlines are so broken up, right? That you never really have to worry about that. You can't see that far, so you never see the draw distance. And I think what makes a map maker, one of the talents, one of the skill sets, is if they can figure out a way to always have something obscuring the draw distance. And when I think about UK style maps, you can see off into the far distance on some of them. On the Western Shore, right? We spend a ton of time on there, and you can see from up on the hill above the main farm, Bramble Lane, you can see forever, but the draw distance is sort of obscured by hedges and stone walls and, I don't know, just folds of the landscape. So it's a trick of the eye, but I think if it's done well, I don't know if you've ever been to the Venetian in Las Vegas, but that ceiling they have downstairs, it's the same thing. Now that's like a hundreds of years old technique where you make a ceiling inside, you make it look like you're outside, but then as you walk, like out of your peripherals, it seems like it's moving. It's very unnerving. The first time you go downstairs in the Venetian and walk around, it feels like the ceiling is moving above you. It's beautiful. It's a little bit creepy. And I feel like that's a similar trick of the eye that map makers use to give you the impression that things are moving even though they're not. All right, lower this. Now I think because we went straight, what would that be, north to south? I think because we went straight north to south, we can trust this to a hired worker now, and then just run back and forth with the grain cart. So what we'll do is, I'm not going to start the combine harvester on the hired worker until everything is teed up. But I think what we're going to do is bring our grain trailer across the highway, park it on this little lane right here to the side. And then we're going to start the combine harvester and run and jump in the chaser bin. Yeah, that'll work. Yeah, we'll bring that over here. And then we have enough room now because we cut this headland in. Yep, I think that'll work. Just trying to figure out whether we want to bring the chaser over first or second. I think we'll bring it over first because now let's risk it. Let's risk it. We'll bring the truck over. We'll start this thing and then we'll go grab the Maxim with the chaser on it. It's amazing. This is a 45-foot header. And first off, it's a massive combine harvester. But when you see how big this field is, even this 45-foot header looks a little bit, sort of dwarfed. I know. We're driving on our row. But in real life, for a farm this big industrial operation like this, I assume you would have multiple people working on this field at once. Let's go get in the Hulk. Bring this over and get it teed up. There we are. Open that up. I know on some of the European trucks, you can get field tires. I didn't see that option for either this truck or this trailer. So to me, that means this is not meant to go in the field. So we will keep it on the farm roads. I think we leave this right here. Like so. Turn that off. All right, we're going to trust our worker. There you go. Now we're going to run to the Maxim and get that going. And what else is going on? I posted it on the Discord. I saw the first trailer for MotoGP 21. And we'll see. I don't know, man. I feel like I'm moving away from the habit I was in of buying games, either pre-ordering them or buying them the minute they drop to stream them or to make videos for them. I would buy them for the channel whether I really wanted them or not. I feel like I'm getting away from that. I'm getting out of that habit. 80%. Wow. It was at 50. Hang on. It was at 50, was it not? All right, I'm coming, buddy. But I'm so disappointed by so many games. It started in 2019, and then it just got worse and worse in 2020. And I don't know, man. I'm really, really cautious now, particularly franchise games. If they're not going to help the channel grow, and they're not a game that I really feel an interest in or a need to buy, let's stay away from it. MXGP 20. I skipped that one, and apparently it was awful. It is awful. No, there you go. So 20% in just a couple hundred yards. Now they will, if we get there quickly enough, they will take off again after we empty them out. Oh, driving this thing like a two-door Honda. Let's be careful now. So yeah, we'll see what that has to offer. Now there were improvements over MotoGP 19. MotoGP 20 was better than MotoGP 19 in that it has the sort of a management aspect to it. Is this thing still running? I think it turned off. If it did turn off, we'll just hop in and start it up again. In fact, we can go over here and take a look. So I don't know if MotoGP 21... Yeah, it says we're still on a worker. Okay. So as soon as that empties, it should take off again. But then what I need to do is get all the way down to the other end there and be ready for him when he gets there so we can continue emptying. I don't know how full he'll be. I mean, 20% in a couple hundred yards. Yeah. Oh, come on now. There we are. He may be able to make it back up this length. Yeah, these are big field problems. When your combine harvester can't make it an entire length. And I don't know what you'd do about that in real life. Would you just go roundy? Or would you ever make lengths where your pipe was over the crop? Unknown. And I think before he gets back, yeah, I think we'll have a minute to do this. So we want pipe out. We can unload this into here. We'll go half in the back, half in the front. Yeah, I don't know what to expect with MotoGP 21. I know there was some improvements for 20, but I don't know. You know, it seems like a lot of franchise titles are just reskins these days. And I got my gear that I wanted in Division 2, and that game is so dead. I'm like embarrassed to say that I even play it. That game is so dead. But I found a game that's even more dead. Because I re-downloaded, I reinstalled, I still own Breakpoint. The worst game of 2019. I still own Breakpoint. So I thought, let's give it a try. Let's see if it's any better, any different. And it is. I think it is. They have turned off the gear score, or they've made it possible for you to turn off the gear score if you want to. So that's out. And they've cleaned it up. They've made it, I don't know, better. The only problem is there's nobody playing it now. So whether you want to do co-op or PvE, or I guess co-op PvE, co-op PvP, what am I trying to say? You could you could do PvP as a squad, or you can do PvE as a squad. I don't think it much matters because there ain't nobody playing it. I've waited in some of the lobbies like 5 minutes, 8 minutes. Like, yeah, no, I'm too busy. I don't have time to wait 20 minutes or half an hour for a pickup game. And even the pickup games that people are getting, apparently it's just I don't know. The only people that are playing that game now are people that got it on sale, and it's like it doesn't have a fan base. Nobody's really into it. So that was disappointing. Because Breakpoint is, for me, it's like Tarkov Light. It's a beautiful environment. Are they going to figure it out? God. Oh, game. You've got all this space, all the space you could ever want, and you try to turn it around right there. All right. So it goes. But I really do like the idea of... Breakpoint. It is, the best way I can describe it is Tarkov Light. A lot of guns, a lot of gear, massive environment, really beautiful environment. No complaints about that. And it was DOA, and even after they fixed it, nobody wants to play it. So, yep, that did work out. I still have it installed. I've played around a little bit. There's a lot of loot that's been added, a lot of cool stuff that's been added since the last time I played it. So I did run around a little bit and gather some stuff up. Man, we're going to have 100 bales out of this field. Literally. Like, I'm not just throwing a number out there. We really are going to have like 100 bales. And we're doing square bales, I guess. Why not? They do fit in that barn better. All right. And we will... I'm going to continue... are they going to stop? They're going to keep rolling. Beautiful. We're going to stay with this guy all the way down to the end of the length so that when they make their turn, they are 0% full. And then that gives them the entire length. Now, they didn't fill up because we left them, I don't know, there was a little bit left on the end of the previous row. Then they turned around and went all the way back up. And they weren't quite full, so I don't think we need to worry about that. But I'd feel better knowing they were empty before they started a length. And I think in real life, that's how you would either want to do it or have to do it. You know, again, because if not, you're going to have your tank full when your pipe is over the crop. And I guess the only thing to do then is back up so you can get a truck under there. But that's not, this equipment is designed to just operate continuously. You don't want to be stopping like that. I've learned the technique. So as we get right about here, we're just going to let him go. And I'm told the reason you do that is, well, if there was another cart servicing, they would be on our left, and then I would slow down, and the other cart on our left would pace the combine harvester, and then after I was out of the way, they would just move to the right onto the pipe. And the reason you want to do that is you're going to continue accepting whatever's in the combine harvester till you're full. And when you're full, you're heavy, right? So rather than trying to accelerate away from the combine harvester and the other cart, you would want to decelerate, which would be easier for you because you're fully loaded, right? And then the cart that's taking over for you is empty, so they would theoretically be able to accelerate more quickly. So I'm told that's why you do that. But you never want to get in a race with a combine harvester when you have a fully loaded cart, because it's just too heavy. All right, so we pull over here, roll down the window, talk to our buddy in the truck. Hang on, need some coffee. So this is my other, I wouldn't say concern, but this is something else that I like about smaller, tighter UK style maps. Even though the fields are irregular and it's harder to get workers to work in them sometimes, I feel like we don't have, I don't know, these fields, they're going to take a long, long time to work. And we can put multiple tractors to work at the same time, either with base game or with course play, but with all these electrical poles and power poles, and with the narrow lanes, I think even course play and the hired workers are going to struggle a little bit. So we'll try to figure out some best practices, but bottom line is, I mean, I don't want to say a farm like this is boring, but I think I need to be kind of diligent about the way that I farm it to keep it interesting. Because other than that, every stream is just going to be one field, right? Like 2 to 3 hours for one field. And that's no fun. It's no fun for me to do as a sim farmer, and I don't think it's any fun for you to watch. So, but we'll give it a try. I figured we would at least test it out. And at the very least, I would like to do another stream in a few days, and maybe we'll put some cotton in. We could even put some cotton in today. I mean, maybe not in this stream, but you know what I mean. We can put some cotton in straight away. Once we get this field, we have to scan it and we have to fertilize it, throw some lime on it. But once we're good to go, we can maybe throw some cotton in this field and have a great big cotton harvest. Which also, as big as those cotton harvesters are, they're only one width, so they do, yeah, it takes a minute. Sort of like potato harvesting. And these, I think I mentioned it in another stream, Shellington. Yep, this field and this field. In 17, I did harvest potatoes, and it took, I mean, it soured me on the map. It soured me on Farm Sim. It was such a dreadful experience to bring in, oh, I don't know what we ended up with, like 500,000 liters of potatoes. But it took hours and hours, days. It took forever. All right, so we know our sequence now. As long as we stay with this thing till almost the end of the row, then they have enough room in the tank to turn around, make it all the way back, and not be full yet. And they've got, I don't know how many more passes. A lot. 8 maybe? 10? It's going to be a minute. But we'll dump this thing again. Now the next question is going to be, how do we want to do this? I guess we can just fill the truck. And then after the truck is full, we can fill this thing all the way, because this does hold 60,000. Not 90,000. This holds 60,000. And the truck holds 60,000, so that's empty the tank half a dozen times. Is that about right? And if we have to, we can always just drive right over to the farm and empty the truck out there, rather than going all the way to the sell point. And I haven't even looked at prices to see what we can get for this. Now, we are running Maze Plus, and that does mess with prices. It does not. I don't know what the... I've tried to read the PDF, man. There's a lot to that PDF. So I couldn't tell you definitively whether Maze Plus alters crop prices or not. All right. There they go. We'll make our turn. Empty this thing out one more time and wait for the combine harvester. And anything else? Anything else? I did another rally. I bumped my difficulty up in WRC8, and I am still winning rallies. I'm winning them by like 10 or 12 seconds over 4 stages, which is really unnerving. Because what that tells me is if I made a single mistake on any of those 4 stages, I would not be in first place. I would not be winning those rallies. So I think I may be at about my max difficulty. And I mean, that's got to be tough for a developer, because the thing about rally is it's it's meant to be. So the formula for rally is, I mean, you can preview the course, and some of the courses, they keep them essentially the same, or at least the stages, they keep them the same year on year. But the thing about rally is, the conditions are so variable. I mean, it's the whole point of having a co-driver with pace notes is you're not quite going into it cold, but sort of. You sort of are. So I really like that, and I feel like if I can get in a good rhythm with the AI co-driver, I can be pretty fast, but I can't memorize those courses. There's too many stages, too many rallies. You run them forward, backward. Might be daytime, might be nighttime, might be raining, might not be. There's a lot of variables. But if that's the only title you play, and you see these YouTubers, right? You see YouTube, it's like world record for, I don't know, whatever, sweet lamb, whales. And they essentially never take their foot off the throttle for the entire stage. And I mean, obviously they've memorized it. They could do it without the co-driver. They could do it without the pace notes, and that's awesome. But the thing is, when you're a developer and you're trying to set the AI, you need to keep those people in mind. Because if the hardest AI is built for people like me who are trying to play it like a rally sim, where it might be 2 or 3 weeks between rallies. Like if I rally Monte Carlo in season mode or career mode, it might be a week or two before that career is over. I start again and go back to Monte Carlo. So I don't have those stages memorized, right? And the level that I'm at now, I do 4 stages per rally, but there might be 6 or 8 stages. So even if you do repeat the same rally, like Monte Carlo in this case, you're not guaranteed to get the same stages or going in the same direction. So I don't have them memorized, and I have to rely on the co-driver. But if it's the only sim you play, and if you take a look at because you can see what stages you're going to be on before the rally starts, and then you can go in and practice it as many times as you want. So I know there are people that play it that way, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I think it makes you significantly faster when you can memorize the course compared to someone who's playing it as a rally sim where you wouldn't memorize the course because you don't know exactly what it's going to be. So what's difficult for me is going to be like absolutely next to nothing easy for somebody else if they've got everything memorized. So they do have to, I think the devs do have to make the AI in rally sims like outrageously stiff. That was, I wouldn't say a complaint, but that was something people noticed about Dirt Rally 2.0, is that, so there's no difficulty in Dirt Rally 2.0. The better you do, the higher you start the next rally, right? I think it's, you start beginner, and then you go clubman, and then sport, and then expert, and then pro, and then legend, or something, master. Oh, but if you finish poorly, slide over a little bit here so we don't bump the header. If you finish poorly, you get relegated. It's a good way to think of it. If you finish well, you get promoted. If you finish poorly, you get relegated. And eventually, there's some stasis, and you sort of find the level you're at in Dirt Rally 2.0. And if you gradually get better, then at some point you may permanently bump up to the next level. But for the most part, as well as you drive, that's where you're going to be racing as long as you own the title. And Master is, I mean, even, I went from like clubman to sport or something. I don't know. I bumped up one category, and I had been winning like every stage by 4 or 5 seconds, win the rally by a minute. Great. I bumped up 1 level, and I was off the pace by like a minute over the course of 3 or 4 stages. So, okay. And I, of course, go and take a look on Reddit. And people are like, yeah, expert level, master's level, they're next to impossible. There's just no way. You have to be dedicated to that game. Like, that's the only sim you play. That's the only title you play. But I get that, because if not, right, like if I could get to a point where I was comfortably winning Masters rallies, or even barely winning Masters rallies, Masters level rallies, I'm not that good at the game. right? So that means that somebody who is very good at the game is going to be winning every rally. There's no possibility that they ever won't win, and that's boring. So I think for rally in particular, the AI at the highest level needs to be just absolutely alien quality. So I did bump my difficulty up one level in WRC 8, and I'm still enjoying it, but it's crazy that you have to, this is going to sound ridiculous when I say it out loud, it's crazy that you just have to drive so fast. Like I drive, the best way to describe it is I drive probably 10% over my comfort level, and I'm a little bit out of control the entire stage, which I don't really like. It doesn't suit my personality, and because I'm more familiar and more comfortable with road racing, I don't know. I like the car to be stuck. Like the car to be stuck to the pavement, and to feel that out of control at all times it's a bit unnerving, but it's the only way that I can compete. And then to go one level higher, I would need to, I don't know what I would need to do. I'd need to do something. But I have also learned that you have to use the handbrake. I've got my flight stick configured as a handbrake, and I wasn't really using it, but I understand now that you have to do that. I'm picking up probably, I mean, depending on how many hairpins there are in a given stage, I'm picking up probably 1 or 2 seconds per kilometer just by being able to get through hairpins and 90s faster. And when you think about a 8 or 10 or 12 kilometer stage, that's 15 seconds of difference. I think if I was still, because I tried it with the button. Tried it with the button on my wheel, but that doesn't work because I throw the wheel around so radically when I'm in a rally sim. The button isn't always where you need it to be. It can be on the other side or like upside down. And I didn't want to buy a separate handbrake because my desk is so crowded. And then I realized, well, I've got my flight stick already mounted on the right side of my wheel. Why don't I just configure that axis? I did, and no problem. I have it set up in iRacing for Rallycross and also in Dirt Rally 2.0 and WRC 8. And I feel like I'm getting the timing. I'm able to make those turns, and it really does. It significantly increases your stage times. So I'm glad that I did that. I don't think I would be able to compete at this level without those extra few seconds per kilometer. And again, I'm not even that fast. I'm getting faster, but I'm not even that fast in rally. So without the handbrake, you know what I mean? I wouldn't even be this fast. But it is fun, and it is it's super, super intense. Rally is it's a different kind of AI experience because you are by yourself. And I feel like I don't know, when you're in a race sim, racing AI, like on a road course or something, as soon as you make the mistake of thinking about the reality that you're racing robots, I don't know, it's one of those can't be unseen things. Yeah, whatever. It's still fun, but it's not as much fun as racing against people. And I feel like in rally, because you're racing times rather than racing actual other cars that you can see, you know, you would always be on a rally stage by yourself, or spaced out 2 minutes or whatever. But since you wouldn't be racing other cars that you could see or trying to pass them, I feel like it aids the immersion a little bit because you don't see that AI driving. And AI, I mean, I think the best AI for me right now is either Assetto Corsa Competizione or R-Factor 2. R-Factor 2 just made some tweaks to their AI, and it's amazing. But every now and then they do something that is still very AI. And it just, you know, it breaks the spell. You realize that you're racing against code. And there's no code that can drive like a human being. That's what I love about iRacing so much. Is you can tell. I mean, you know, for one thing, you know you're racing against people, but you just know. You can feel the difference. So in a rally sim, you don't have to sort any of that out because you wouldn't be out there with anybody anyway. And I think that's it. Yep, flying, rally, breakpoint, MotoGP 21. Still haven't seen anything for Iberia and what's the other one? Wyoming. Still haven't seen anything for that, but I think we're pretty close. Couple patches for ATS and ETS. Told you I had those turn signal problems in ATS, but it seems like it's been addressed. I remember having that problem way back, early days in ETS. And I mean, like, is it full? No. Can't be full. What? All right, so how are we going to do this? This is half full now. Oh. Sir? Uh-oh, we got problems. We got problems. I think that thing's full. Okay, this is what we're going to have to do. As soon as this guy gets down here, we're going to need to very quickly empty him out. Park the Maxim next to the farm truck. Take the farm truck over to the... Take the farm truck over. No, you know what? We're not going to do that. We're not going to do that at all. Let me tell you why. We're going to take the farm truck over right now and empty it. Because the tank in the combine harvester is about half full right now. It's going to fill up on its way down there with pipe out to the other side. Pipe out, not over the crop. So let's, if it's going to be full, let's let it fill up while the pipe is on the good side. And then we can go empty it. So let's go dump this thing out. Let's fight the jackknife. Let's go empty this thing out. Then we'll dump out the chaser bin again. Then we'll empty the combine harvester again. All right, there you go. And this is, yep, 60,000. I think we should sell all this. Now we do have Maze Plus going, so we'll take a look before we sell anything. I mean, there's no harm in holding on to it for a minute. But I want to say the cows do not eat wheat or barley. Hang on. Is this a center dump? I think it is. Hang on. I mean, I can see the... Yep, this is a center dump. Okay. I was going to back this thing in so the back of the trailer was right over the grate, but I think this is the better way to do it. And let's center these. I don't know if one or both of these is going to open. That one first. No graphic that I can see, but I mean, we got the little animation when it opened. So then the next question is that one going to close and the other one opens? Oh, look at that. Beautiful. Oh. Interesting. What if we want to empty the other one? Do we need to pull out of the trigger and then pull back in? Let's try that. It's interesting that it's got the two, I don't know, what would you call those? Chambers? Sides? Oh, now we got problems. Oh, now the combine harvester's full. All right, so let's go back out of the trigger on that side. I mean, we can't really select that because we've only got one trailer on. Tip side front. Aha, tip side front. Hang on. And is it down? Can't see where the highlighted arrow is. You got to switch it. Okay. It's another little detail that I wasn't counting on. You have to switch whether you're dumping from the front or the back, but if you get the right one open, the correct one open, then it does dump down there. Okay. Can you tell I've never used this trailer? All right, so we will back up now and make our way over to the farm lane again. I think we'll be able to finish the field. I don't know what the timer is on the combine harvester, how long we have to get to it before the hired worker quits and goes home. But we'll camera, but we'll get there as quick as we can. I mean, maybe not that quick. Let's just calm down a little bit. So right over here. Let's just calm down. All right, here we go. And they made it. How about that? They made it all the way down and then part way back. Son of a. All right, so we'll open that. We'll open that. Well, since everything is stopped anyway, we're going to have to reposition the combine harvester to empty it because the pipe's on the wrong side. Let's just go ahead and empty this as well, and then we'll have plenty of room to take everything that's in the combine harvester. Okay. And where are we at on time? 1 hour, 6 people watching, 6 lurkers. I understand. I'm a bit of a lurker. So we'll see where we're at when we're done with this. I guess we need to pick this straw up so we can lease a great big square baler and start on some of this straw. And then I think we'll lease a great big flatbed as well to pick up all the square bales. All right, done and done. There's that. Really liking the way the tractors feel with VCA. Feels like it's just the right amount of weight. But definitely better than base game. Oh, that draw distance. I mean, I know there's nothing that can really be done about it, but I mean, when I think about Flight Simulator 20 and what it's done as far as, you know, the way that it looks, I wonder what it's going to do for our expectations. Foxy dropped a comment and said, you know, the cities in ETS are too small, right? You drive in, there's all the... Oh, this is still an hired worker. Okay. Well, if we could have got the pipe in the right place, I think we could have left it on the hired worker, but it's not super critical. Don't hit anything. Carefully. In too many cities in ETS, you pull into the city, right? All the buildings are downtown, all the businesses are downtown, and then you pull out of it again. Well, I mean, it's got to be stylized a little bit, where the game would be a billion gig. It would be just a massive game, and it wouldn't run as well as it does on any system, right? Which is something Truck Sim is kind of famous for. You can run it on a potato. That's something people love about it. But when I look at something like Flight Sim, I don't know if any simulator, let's turn these beacons off. I don't know if any simulator will ever be able to pull it off at ground level. And I don't know if SCS would be able to pull it off, because as much as they've grown, I still think of them as kind of an independent studio. They're not Electronic Arts or anything. But I do wonder with what Flight Sim has done as far as sort of pushing the limits of, real time, what something can look like. Let's line this up a little bit better. I know we're driving all over our straw row. I know. Let's put this right here. Get to work. I don't know if it would be possible for a truck sim, not the current truck sim that we have. It would be like the next generation, next iteration. I don't know if it would be possible for a truck sim to essentially generate real 3D scenery, real 3D stuff as you go to that city, as Flight Simulator does. I know, a completely different animal. But I know, the first time I saw it was in Las Vegas. Again, Las Vegas. But what I pulled my phone out, and it knew that I was walking. And when I went to navigate, instead of just having the sort of 3D, right, like driving mode, it gave me a 3D walking mode where it had like actual 3D buildings to the left and right of me in the actual shape that they were. So by looking at the buildings around me and seeing their shape in real life, I could orient myself by seeing the 3D buildings that my phone was rendering via Google Maps. So there is, I mean, they didn't have any skins on them or anything, and you know, as far as lighting and that sort of thing, it wasn't correct. It was just like a visual reference. But the idea is there, right? That there could be a way to render a city from street level in real time with textures. Maybe. But if that's the case, then like Foxy was saying about Hamburg being like way too small, it wouldn't be. It would be the real size. But you would only download, like in Flight Sim 20, you would only download, and you would only have to download scenery for places that you wanted to go to. So the game wouldn't be a terabyte. You know, it could be a lot smaller because it would only have the scenery that you need. But I feel like we'll get there. You know, I look at the way so many games and so many genres have evolved, and I do think we will get there. It's just a question of, you know, whether it'll be 2 generations from now or 5 or 1 or who knows. But games continue to impress me. All right, so right up here, we'll get this emptied out. Oh, let's zoom in a little bit. Zoom in a little bit and get those shadow maps dialed a bit. Oh. I mean, I feel like games are like movies in that if you want to, you can just pick them apart till there's absolutely nothing left. You can just find every flaw and everything that's broken about them and everything that doesn't work. And eventually every game will sort of collapse. There won't be anything left of it. You've picked it apart. You've picked it to pieces. But I think for the most part, a lot of the popular games, a lot of the titles that we really love, they're put together in a way that it's kind of easy to look past the flaws. You know, they're easy games to like. And something like the Farm Simulator franchise, and I really have come around to 19. Was not a big fan when it first dropped, you know that, but I've come around, and I think they've done a lot of work on it, and they've made it work. Right? Flight Simulator, I hope they do the same thing. Breakpoint, too little, too late. They didn't make it. What were some other big fails the past couple of years? Yeah, there've been quite a few games that were really troubled on day one, and the fixes just didn't get there in time, and they never developed a fan base. But the games that we love, I feel like they do have flaws. No game is perfect. But the games we love, the things that we love about them outnumber the things we don't love or don't like. And they work for us. And I'm definitely curious to see where it goes. Man, even just for me in the past few years since I got back into gaming, to be gaming on a coffee table with an old Pavilion laptop playing Truck Sim, 4 years ago now? To having the rig that I have now, which I am dreading moving. I really don't want to pack all this stuff up and move it. I know I have to. But just the progress that I've made. And my stuff is all consumer. I don't have any prosumer stuff, and I certainly don't have any pro stuff. But it's still, you know, it works really, really well for me. And it's just going to get better, you know. So both me, on my end, with my hardware, and the titles themselves, they're just going to continue improving. Can't wait to see where it goes. All right, we got a minute while we're waiting on him. I'm going to have some water. I'm really trying to stay hydrated. So I think the next thing we can do, well, the next thing we have to do for both these fields is hit them with the soil probe. But yeah, I'm not going to do that in a stream. That would take forever. And even if we use the Kloss, it's, oh, that's right. It's only, how wide is it? Is it like 20 meters, 30 meters, something? I don't know. But it would still be 10 lengths. 10. This field is 10 lengths wide. And they're long lengths. And then as soon as this field is done, we also have this one behind us. So there's no way I would sample these fields in a stream. That's the kiss of death, man. I wouldn't do it to you. But that's what will have to happen before we can start fertilizing these. And we'll have to fertilize them before we put any seed in them. So I think what we'll do is bail a little bit. And maybe just fill one trailer. And then we'll call it. I mean, it is a test. The Lone Oak is a test. See how it goes. But I'm curious if it's possible to farm a map with fields this big in stream and have it be at all interesting. Yeah, and then we've got, oh god, we've got that other cereal field right there. So we will, once this thing is done, we'll drop the header, drop the landing gear, drop the header, tow the whole thing over there to get it out of the way, and then get our chaser and our grain truck put away. And I guess we'll buy a baler. We're sitting on almost 400K. So let's buy a baler, because we'll certainly need it. And I don't know, I guess we'll buy 2 flatbeds. I would love to chain them. We did that on Gaislesburg. We were picking up our bales with 2 chained flatbeds, tandem flatbeds, and we were able to get, I want to say like 60 bales per trip. Does that sound about right? It's a lot of bales. So we'll see how it's going. I'll maybe just do the headland, see how many bales we get from the headland, pick those up. I don't know. So we'll need 2 trailers. Well, if we can get one with a pintle on the back, we'll need 2 trailers and a dolly. I'll find out where they're buying bales on the map. Well, I mean, do we? If we're selling them, we do. Oh, you know what? I remember. There is, in the center of the map, as soon as we get to the end of this wheat here, I'll show you. There is it's like a farmhouse in the middle of the map that buys bales. I don't know if that's still the case with 19. All right. Sir. All right, they done. It is bale sell point, right there. But it's a little tricky to get into it, and I don't know if we can get into it with a tandem. Let's take a look. Let's go here, and that would be under what? Bale technology. Yep. Go here. Tap. Pardon me. Yeah, no 5th wheel trailer for bales. Huh. Okay. So then we'll have, how else could we do this? Square bale's big. This holds 12. This holds 24. Oh, that's for the Heston bales. Okay. So this holds 24 bales. So if we go, pardon me, if we go here, right? Auto load, yes. Attachers, yes. So if we go back here, put a trailer hitch on this thing. No, we don't need that. If we put a trailer hitch on this thing, we could chain 2 of these together. We'll lease 2 of these. See if that even works. Okay. Yeah, just trying to figure this out. how we can have the most fun on this map. And if we do that, we won't need a dolly, and we can pull it with a tractor. Yeah, I guess that makes sense. We can pull it with a tractor rather than pulling it with the truck, because we will be in the field, and that truck, I don't think, I mean, I didn't see an option to put any type of field tires on that truck, so probably wouldn't be a good idea to take it into a field. It's just going to get stuck. I mean, in real life, I assume it would, unless the field was very dry and very compacted. All right, so this thing holds 60. We've got about 33,000 in here. Let's see if we can fit the rest of this in the trailer. So we'll let that work. Camera. I don't know what is causing that. Ernie seems to think it is a mod. I don't disagree. I just need to figure out which mod it is. I need to start a clean profile with no mods at all and see if that sorts it out. The other thing I think is that something in my game config file is broken because I did use a mod, so I'll have to like toss my game config and then set everything up a second time, because there's something broken in there, something corrupt. This looks really good at 200% scaling. I'm really happy with it. And from this angle, I mean, you can't see the draw distance. No complaints. Man, I've had an FPS counter in my top right. Yep, top right of my screen. I've had an FPS counter for years via Shadow Play. So I used to lower that. Drop that. I used to use Shadow Play for capturing, right? When I was recording videos, I used Shadow Play. It was the I could never get OBS working, and Shadow Play was the lowest resource penalty as far as impacting frame rate, because you had another app sort of interacting with your graphics card. The way Shadow Play captures, like straight off the card, minimal FPS impact. But it's kind of a shit program, and it's just a bad program. It's just really bad. It's like Razer Synapse. You know, I need a 500 meg program jacking into like every aspect of my system so I can make the red lights in my mouse operate. Come on. It's spyware. It's bloatware. It's adware. We know it, but what are you going to do? So Shadow Play is the same. Well, Shadow Play is part of the GeForce Experience app. So I had it in there for capture, but then I wasn't using it. So I figured, well, let's try it without. So I will have to update my drivers manually for my Nvidia cards. But I also lost that little FPS counter that I've had for so long. But I'm told that as minimal as the impact of Shadow Play is on FPS when you're capturing a game, having the GeForce Experience running at all is really kind of not good for your system. It really does load it up. It's kind of a bloated piece of software that you really don't need. I mean, if you're recording or streaming or something, you can use it for that, but there are other fixes. The only reason I was using it is because I could never get OBS working, which is on me, not OBS. I know everybody uses OBS and they all get it to work, so this is some problem that I was having. Right. Leave that running because it's been working hard. That is the Lone Oak, by the way, out there in the distance. Next thing, I think we'll need to pull the Maxim forward so we can empty into that other half of the trailer. We'll get that emptied out. If the chaser bin is completely empty, we'll park that up, put it in the barn, and then we'll come back over, grab the trailer, empty it into the silo, and then park that up as well. And then I guess we'll use, let's use the Maxim to tow our bale trailers, and let's use the Optim to tow the baler itself. Right in there. So we've got, we may not be able to fit all this in the trailer. We've got just under 12,000. I don't know if there's 12,000 more of capacity left in here. Oh, it's going to be close. 4,000. 2,000. There we go. Got it all in there. Okay. So put that away. I like that great big barn, that great big shed where we've got the Optum parked right now. But it is a little bit tricky to get stuff in there. If I was having this farm built, I think I would have had doors put on the other end as well. Like a hangar door all the way across the, like perpendicular to these two doors that are here now. I would have made that whole wall a hangar door. Carefully. All right, leave that right there. And leave that right there. I think this is the workshop in here, or it was. Let's see if it still is. Yep, looks like it, but last time I played this map, I kept my big farm truck, my tractor trailer, in here as a pull-through. So we'll do that again. If we need to repair something, we can always just pull it out momentarily. All right, saw the mailbox. Just wanted to check for an Easter egg. You never know. All right, cover is in place. Yep, looks like we made it by about 2,500 liters. Beautiful. We want tip side front to start, do we not? Okay, so that's set. You know, I miss mods, but I do have to recognize and appreciate how much smoother the game runs without them. We've got a few mods running, but not too many. Let's center this thing up a little better. It gave us the trigger, but let's try to be good farmers. Curious if you can put two different crop types in this trailer. I imagine you could. Alright, so there's the first one. Man, it has been absolutely just raining like crazy for so long. Alright, there's half. So that one closes, so now we want this one. Pull forward. And then empty that one as well. It's just been raining like crazy for so long, and now we've got ice storms. The weather is absolutely mental, but it's I feel like I live in Seattle. The weather's been terrible. I haven't been able to get outside and run. Even when you do get outside, it's just cloudy. There's no sun. I've been taking extra vitamin D. Fighting that seasonal affective disorder, man. It is miserable weather. And I believe this whole thing will fit, at least it did in 17. Yeah, this whole thing will fit nicely inside. Beautiful. All right, so we turn that off. Is everything over here? Combine harvester is over at our other wheat field. We got our Maxim here, and we've got our Optim inside. Let's pull our Optim out. And do I have these backwards? Which is the more powerful? Hang on, let's take a look here. The Maxim is 175. The Optim is 288. I had them backwards. For some reason, I was thinking the Optim was the smaller of the two. This is our monster. Okay. And then there's one other one. Hang on. While I'm thinking about it, there's one other case that I think you can get. The Magnum. Yeah. With... there you go. Now I kind of want this. Let's do it. Let's sell the Maxim. And let's go back out here. Well, we'll pull this outside. Right up here, and then we want let's have our store delivery sent right about here, and we're going to get a Maxim, I'm sorry, a Magnum with the Agra bumper, which I really do like, and GPS and tracks, and we go for max horsepower, 435. Let's go 435. We'll buy that. And then we want to, I guess we want to buy a baler. Well, we can't now. We just spent all our money on that tractor. We're down to 100 grand. All right, so we will we'll lease. And this is the square baler. Yeah, and we don't have any hay to wrap. But even if we do get hay to wrap, we can just lease the wrapper. So we'll lease that. And then we'll go back in here. And we want the 24 square bale trailer. That's the Heston bales. It's 18. There we go. 180 square bales. We want 180 square bales. Right there. So we want this one. I don't know if we really care about color. Yeah, of course we do. Let's put our Agco wheels on it as we do. Design color is going to be case red. Main color will be galvanized. That's nice. Silver auto load, yes. We do want a trailer hitch on the back of it. We don't need an extension. We don't need to worry about that. So we're going to lease one and then two. All right. So we'll reset that. And we want, I guess we want our new Magnum pulling the baler. Yeah, that makes sense. I have not downloaded the new cattle and crops. I'd like to see some of those updates. And apparently everything now has dynamic hose, which is, it's one of those things, man. It's not that big a deal, but it kind of is. What? Oh, I'm running some kind of, oh yeah, hang on. Moment. So we want to go here. And is it, I think it is under bale technology. So we want twine, net holder, twine holder, main color. Let's go red. I'm having fun with the red. Capacity. Ooh. And we can go 16. So we'll lease this as well. Now, does it have anything on it when we pick it up? It does not. Damn it, man. So now where do we go? Is it... It's got to be under pallets. Bale net, bale twine. So that we do buy. All right. So this is the bale add-on mod. I didn't know that that impacted base game as well, because this is a base game baler. It's like the old Corona Ultima. All right, so we want to refill twine holder. Oh, that's right, we got it. There we go. I've got overlapping controls. Too many overlapping controls. That's a smart looking little whip. Oh. As we back into a power pole. You know what? That happens. It's not a big deal. Although I do notice that our safety bumpers are kind of an odd angle now. Hang on. So if we lower this, oh, that's no good. That's no good at all. All right. I guess we can drop this and see. Yeah, that's what happens. When there's something on there, the safety bumper goes to a slightly different angle. Okay. Thought I was going crazy. Well, I really am enjoying using this ridiculous kit. It's been a long time since I've played with tractors this big, so I'm enjoying myself. This field is unplowed, unfertilized, no lime. Let's see what we get for bales. I think it's going to be a lot. Like a lot. Let's count one length and then just kind of extrapolate, because we're about 15 lengths wide. And slow down a little bit here. There we go. I'd say we're at least 10 lengths wide, if not more, maybe 15. So let's see what we get from one length. And then we'll just multiply that by 15. So 6 would give us 75. I think we may do 6 in this first row. And then I think if we can plow this and get the 10% buff, and then if weeds are turned on, we didn't have any weeds because we just started, but if we plow it and fertilize it and get the pH and everything, I would say we could probably double our yield. So that would take us to, because we're at about 120,000 liters of barley that we got, so that would be 250. And then if we get 60 bales, go from 60 to 120, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that one right there is just about to drop out. So we could call it 6 times 15. So that's 75 bales. And this one, it's like it wants to drop. It's just kind of hanging on there. All right. Load pickup. And we'll go once around. Take care of the headland and the 2 lengths on the end. Make a little bit of room, and then we'll go grab our Optum. Hook up those 2 trailers to it. And come over here and gather all these up and get them out of the way. And then we can just do lengths. And we'll probably do that. Where are we at? Hour and 34 minutes. Yeah, we might just do that till the end of the episode. Just work on baling this field. And then next episode, do we own this as well? Nope, we do not own these sunflowers right here. We've got one more cereal field, the wheat field, and we've got 2 great big grass fields. So that means, well, I mean, we harvested barley this episode, so I would say next episode we'll probably do some grass work. Do some big kit grass work, which would be the big M. And I guess 1 field silage, 1 field hay bales. And at that point, we're sort of all set for animals. Got that. Yeah, we can start getting some cows in here straight away. Now, I do remember this map with seasons in 17. I was taking like 15 and 18,000 liters of manure out of the barn per day, to the point where I couldn't use it fast enough. Because with seasons, you know, you don't always have a field that you can get to work on straight away. So there were not enough things to do with the manure that we had. So, and I don't think we stayed on the map long enough to have to sell any of it, but we couldn't use it all as fertilizer. We just didn't have enough fields that needed fertilizer. Whenever the next version of Farm Sim comes out, I would really like to see a feature where if you store your consumables, right? Like if you put your bales in a certain location, or if there's just some kind of designated measurement that you can use to let the code know this is how many straw bales I have. That as long as you've got enough available for your animals, there's a feature where you can pay a worker to do it, right? And so if you've got straw bales in a specific place, when your animals need straw, it just draws it from there. You have to pay for it as though you were paying a worker, but you don't necessarily have to do it yourself. You can if you want, but you don't have to. I find some of the animal stuff to be a little bit tedious. I don't think we're gonna make that turn. Let's try over here. There we go. So that is one headland. I can't really see all the way across to count them all, but we can take a look in the menu and see how many bales. I say 15, 18. I mean, maybe we'll get more than 60. Because how many rows? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yeah, maybe more like 80 or 100 bales. I don't know, man. It's gonna be a lot of bales. And I will get well, we can't. We gotta make some money first. But at some point we'll need to get I guess probably a wheel loader. I mean, let's go big kit. Let's have some fun on this farm. So we'll go with a wheel loader instead of a telehandler. Pull this up right here. Turn that off, but leave everything running. And if we go here and here, right here. Let me see. Bales. Created bales. Wow, 20. Okay. We're going to have a lot of bales. I'd say at least 80. Because, I mean, 6 per length would be 70. 6 by 15 would be 75. And I think we got even more than that. Okay. I mean, that's a lot of bales, man. And we'll just make one row down the side of that barn, and then the row next to it will be, I'd say, hay bales. Because silage bales don't really need to be inside. And this setup that we have right here will be 24 and 24, so we can carry 48 bales. And I think this will work. I hope it will. If not, we could just return one of these so we're not paying the rental on it. That's pretty close. Are the judges going to allow it? They certainly are. Beautiful. And let's pull through. So we're not trying to turn this rig around. And this UAW is a little different. UAW? United Auto Workers? UAL. This UAL script is a little different, and I think because we selected the square bale trailers, we don't have to pick what's going on them, so we can just go to operating position for both of them, and now they are both ready to pick up square bales as soon as we drive past them. Feeling like we might be getting a little bit of chug right through there. Still pretty smooth, but not, I have to say, not as smooth. And the only thing that's different really is we've got some bales on the map. I don't know if it would make that much of a difference. All right, here we go. Now there are some circumstances where you can unload directly from an auto-loading trailer to where you're going to store things, but unfortunately we won't be able to, because these bales are turned 90 degrees from how you have to load them into that barn to be able to get them out. So we will have to take these off, and it'll stack them 3 high, I think. So if we get a wheel loader and we get the sort of spiked side grab from the straw harvest pack, I think we may be able to. We'll unload the bales to the trailer, right? Instead of unloading them to the ground, we'll just hit the button twice so they sit up on the trailer, and then we'll use that grab to pull them off 3 at a time, still stacked vertically, and just run them all the way into that barn and stack them up along one wall front to back. And from there, we'll be able to, at least on the hay side, we'll be pulling them out 3 at a time as well. I think the straw, we won't need nearly that much, but we'll have straw bales for quite a while. And if we don't have cereal crops in these fields, next time we harvest, we'll have plenty of straw left over. And the other thing we can do is, when we harvest that wheat field on the other side of the highway, we can make straw there as well. I wasn't going to. I was just going to spit it out as chaff, but I mean, why not? We can make straw bales there as well, and then take them down and sell them. All right? Because I don't think we get any fertilizer bonus for. Carefully. I don't think it would pull this one out of the baler, but I didn't want to risk it. In fact, yep. I don't want to get too close to that bale that's on the back of the baler right now. Leave that. OCD. Leave a little room for the UPS driver. There we go. So I don't think there's any. We don't get any bonus. We don't get any buff for spraying chaff back onto the field, do we? I don't think we do. So there's really no reason not to. I mean, even if we just get a few thousand on the American map, even if we just get a few $1,000s for it, I would say there's no reason not to make those bales and sell them. And the other thing we can do is, if all the bales we get out of this field don't completely fill that barn, then we can use what we need to from the wheat field Just make sure our bales go floor to ceiling all the way from the front of the barn to the back of it. And anything over that we can sell. All right, so we'll do, we've got 20 on there now. So let's do another 28. So that'll be, call it 4 lengths, 5. We'll do 4 or 5 lengths, put those on the trailer, and then we'll call it. And that'll be, yep, just about 2 hours. Perfect. And let me know, I mean, if you're here now, let me know what you think of this map, whether you think it's a good idea to do another stream of it. And if not, you can let me know in the comments, DM me, whatever. I don't know. I mean, I'm on the fence about it. It's different. And it's definitely different than the super realistic videos that I've done. I feel like as we've gotten more and more into streaming, we've started to have a little bit more fun. Maybe play a little bit less seriously, a little bit less realistically, but hopefully have more fun. So let me know what you think of this map. I like it, but it's, you know, it's different. And we've used about 15% of our twine. I don't think we're going to use it all, but we bought the twine itself on the pallet, and we bought the twine holder, so anything that we have left over, we can just use it next time we bale. And we did not buy the baler, that's right, because it was 100 grand, and we just didn't have that much money after we bought this ridiculous tractor. And we do, I mean, if we needed money, we could probably sell that cotton harvester. I got it. I don't know why I got it. I think I've only grown cotton once, and that was after the John Deere Cotton DLC dropped. But I wouldn't mind giving it another try. It's different. And we do own the truck. We do own the Hulk. And I think the cotton bale loading trailer is a cool piece of kit. The way you back up to the bale and it sort of siphons it up and pulls it up into the truck. So we can mess with that a little bit. As I recall, you don't get a whole lot when you sell cotton. I want to say one time I got like 2 bales from a great big field on Ravenport. I got like 2 bales, and they sold for $20,000 a piece. And it's like, I mean, I appreciate you, but that's not a lot of money for a lot of work. So we'll see how it all comes out. But yeah, we'll do some cotton farming. We're going to pretend this farm is in Texas. Texas or Southern California, Arizona somewhere. Maybe a little too green for Arizona. But we'll say it's somewhere far enough south that you could grow Texas. Oh, what I got? 13 more minutes that I'm done. Enough to grow Texas. Yeah. Far enough south that you could grow cotton. Yeah, I get about 2 hours in me for a stream. Anything over, I gotta, you know what I'm saying? I gotta cut my losses. All right, make a big turn here. And that's, we're getting a little more than 6. How many is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, we're getting 7 per length, not 6. So something like 15, 105. I don't know, man. We're gonna have a lot of bales when we're done. A lot of bales. It's gonna take a minute to put these away. So we'll do. Well, if we're getting 7, we need to do 4 lengths. We'll do 5 just to be sure. Do we have enough to fill both those trailers? And then we'll call it. That'll be perfect. Just about 2 hours. I did start streaming Xsplit, man. I've got so many thumbnails on my desktop ready to go. Because I make a thumbnail for the stream, whether I end up doing the stream or not. I keep the thumbnail until I do the stream. So it's one way that I remind myself of like what I owe you. But I've got one up there for Truck Sim. I've got one up there for X-Plane. I tried again to fly from Brussels to Vienna, and there was no ATC on. And I really want to do a stream for you with ATC. It's different. It's a lot more fun. It's a lot more intense. And I would hope that it would be a lot more interesting for you. I'm into X-Plane. I know you're not. but I'm hoping we can like find a middle ground, the middle path, and I can find a way to make those streams more interesting. So maybe Iveo, maybe ATC is the way to go. But there was no ATC on. I took a look at the maps multiple times, and there was just no ATC on anywhere in Europe, other than Gatwick. So I did do my regular flight that I know it really, really well. I've done it so many times. But the flight from Gatwick to Glasgow, and there was ATC, there was Gatwick Tower and Gatwick Approach. And since I was leaving Gatwick, technically it was Gatwick Director, but they were acting as approach and departure. And you know, I thought when I was on VATSIM, I thought it was VATSIM that they were a little, you know what I'm saying? A little snooty, a little snotty. I thought it was VATSIM, but I've come to realize it could be London Control. And I mean, in fairness, that is some of the busiest airspace in the world. And the way that those ATC crews handle it in sim, I mean, it's a pretty busy airspace in sim as well. So I think you've really got to be on your game. And, you know, when people are good at something, they very often know it. So when I got on Iveo, I was only flying in continental Europe, and it was just so different than VATSIM. Everybody was so nice, you know. It's just a whole different experience. And then I hop. It's the first time I've flown out of Gatwick. I hop in the frequency for Gatwick Tower, and it's like, oh yeah, it's almost the same attitude as VATSIM. I mean, it's not the end of the world, but I don't know. I immediately noticed the difference. I wouldn't say that they were, I mean, they're certainly competent. They're amazing controllers, but maybe not the nicest group of people, maybe. Hard to describe. So yeah, I'm thinking some of the problems I ran into on VATSIM weren't VATSIM, they were just London. But they do, I cannot stress enough, they're very good at what they do, and they do it regardless of how good or bad the pilots are, so props to them. And yeah, I wasn't gonna go back in. I mean, I didn't have the thumbnail made for one thing to fly from Gatwick to Glasgow, but it just seemed like, I don't know, that Brussels to Vienna flight is perfect. It's the right length, and when control is on, they seem I don't know, just super chilled. I mean, they're still competent. It's not, you know what I mean? It's not a free-for-all. We're still LARPing a very serious activity, but they just seem, I don't know, more chill. Less snarky. But we'll get all that figured out. So I don't know what I'm going to stream tomorrow. I think I might want to do the truck tomorrow just to kind of wrap up the week with no pressure. And we'll see how many more times ATS and ETS update. I'd say they've been probably daily. They've been throwing a little patch in there, or a big patch. But they do seem to have sorted out the FPS in Colorado. And we'll see if that light problem comes back. It seemed like it was significantly better, but there were still a couple times when I noticed it. It's when you put the turn signal on, it's like every time the turn signal blinks on, it's trying to load shaders or something. The whole game just slows. You can feel the game just like absolutely slow down. It's like you're stuck in molasses. And then when the turn signal blinks off, it speeds up to catch up to where it was supposed to be. So it goes from too slow to too fast. I find it very unnerving. All right. Once again, we'll pull this out of the way so we don't accidentally grab this bail. Pull this right over here. Leave that running because it's been working hard. We'll go hop in our Optum, gather up these bales, and call it an hour and 54 minutes. Perfect. I love when it works out like that. Yeah, I mean, I guess there's really nothing they can do. And that's sort of what I was getting at before about like big world games and draw distances. You look at something like SnowRunner, which is running on Havoc, draw distances are absolutely unbelievable. I mean, even being in Breakpoint, you can see all the way across Aroa when you're in the helicopter. It's amazing. But I don't know. I don't know if you could ever render a big world like that. Well, I don't know if you could build a big world like that for Truck Sim and not have it be like anything less than 250 gig or something. And also really demanding on systems, on graphics cards. I don't know if it's possible to do that. But if they could find a way to do what Microsoft and Asobo did, because admittedly, you know, Microsoft Flight Sim 20, it's a badly broken game. It needs a lot of work, but the graphics are unbelievable. I guess I didn't want that bail. I'll come back and get that one later. What it does with the graphics and the way the graphics look, even when they're broken, they still look amazing. Like the UK and Ireland update is all messed up, apparently. Specific buildings are in the wrong place. There was a farmhouse in the middle of the taxiway at Manchester. It's, you know, but the trees, the clouds, the flight we did, if you scroll back a month or two ago on this channel, we flew across Ireland in a 172 at like 1,000 feet. And it's just absolutely gorgeous. You can see everything. You can see animals in the fields. You can see bales in the fields with shadows. And you can see cars in the parking lot of buildings. It's really breathtaking. And so that part, they absolutely nailed it. And if it would ever be possible to bring that kind of tech to something like Truck Sim, that would be, you know what I mean? Mind-blowing. So we'll see. It certainly will happen someday. You know, as far as when that is, unknown at this point, but I think that's kind of what Foxy was getting at, is that everything needs to be so sort of cartoony and video gamey to fit, you know, to work. And these draw distances are sort of in the same category. I would love to see this game have the draw distances that SnowRunner has. Because SnowRunner, I mean, you can stand on one side of the map, look across the map, and see your vehicles. And it's not just like a single blue pixel. If you look close, if you've got a big monitor, it's pretty detailed. You know, it somehow holds the res, and it does all that at 60 FPS. And I'm on an economy card, but I can run that game on just about ultra settings and maintain that kind of detail. I can't imagine what it looks like in 4K, because I'm not rendering 4K right now. And I don't know if it would hold on 4K. I assume it would, and it would look just as good or better. But I know there are games that can hold draw distance over what would be the equivalent of, 2 or 3 miles, 5 miles. And we'll go ahead and pretty this up. So we want to go transport position, and then transport position, and then we want to unload bales. Unload bales, is that right? There we go. Unload bales here. Put the straps on that one, and then unload bales here. Put the straps on that one. Hop out here. An hour and 58 minutes. I don't know how it works out this way, but it works out this way. They have 48 bales. I'll bail up the rest of this. I'll pick up the rest of these off camera, and do let me know if you want to stream this map again. I don't mind it. It's different, but I don't mind it. And if we do stream it again, we will be, I'll do the soil sampling on these fields off camera, and we will focus on either getting these fields prepped or grass work or both. So there you have it. Thanks, everybody. I do appreciate you. You're awesome. Thanks for doing this with me. See you tomorrow. I don't know what we're going to be streaming tomorrow, but we'll come up with something. Between now and then, come up with something. Thanks, everybody. Good night.